Okay, so I know so many people are tuning in right now just for this episode right here because Nas and I have both literally built our businesses to multiple six figures. I'm pretty sure yours is multiple six figures too, right? Oh yeah, we're knocking on seven figures, the both of us. So that's a huge accomplishment, and both of us got here literally by having a strong organic game. And I know a lot of you guys, you're not quite ready for ads, and you know what, you're probably right. If you're thinking you're not ready for ads, you're not. But Nas, what is something that I always tell you? Because Nas always overthinks her ads. Because, like, remember, total transparency, I do her ads for her. And what is it that I always tell you? Because she always gets locked up whenever I send her ads to do. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, you are so awesome at creating organic content, and ads are literally just organic content with money on them. Like, if you just start thinking about like ads being organic content with money on them, you're going to start to understand the foundation of a really profitable ad strategy. And again, and it's not thinking about $1 in, $2 out, but we're going to help you lay the foundation on what you can start implementing literally after this episode. That's going to help you build that foundation that's going to sustain your business, not only going into 2022, but from a decade from now, depending on how long you want your business to be there. This is a strategy that's never going to go away. This is a strategy that I started in 2002 when I was working in television and launching new news programs and television shows. So this isn't something, that we learned from a webinar. This is something that literally was tried and true. Like, whenever I first started my business, I didn't know what the heck I was doing online, but I just took everything that I was learning in television. And some of you guys have heard this story before. My very first job was getting people to watch the 11 o'clock news. And we're talking about the 11 p.m. news, right? People are fighting sleep. Their honey's like, let's have sex, and all of these things. And it was my job after the credits roll of their favorite show, right? CSI or Criminal Minds. There was a whole bunch of awesome shows back in the day whenever I worked for CBS. But it was my job, as soon as those credits rolled, it was my job to get people to not only not grab that remote, but it was my job to keep them through a commercial break. Do you know how hard it is to make something interesting through a commercial break? People are like, they're revved up from like the last episode of, their favorite show. It's time to go to bed. And I'm trying to get them to not turn off the TV, and even harder, get them to watch the 11 o'clock news. And so I had to really learn early on that it was super important to create content that would, one, grab people's attention, and two, keep it. And the way that I was able to keep it was always keeping in mind, what is that promise of value that brings to someone's life? So I'll use an example. So, like, let's say there is a water main break and the news is in Seattle, but the water main break is in Tacoma. Why do people care about a water main break? Why should someone who lives in Seattle stick around for a water main break in Tacoma? Well, they're going to care if their morning commute into Seattle is going to be a disaster, or they're going to care if the water is being shut off at a certain place. And so it was up to me to find all of these things, like, why do people care? And so that's going to be the foundation that we're going to lay today in this episode, is how can we find value in a way that is going to be relevant in what we've been talking about, is the coaching industry bubble, right? Nas, like, I'm sure, what are you seeing with your clients? Because I am seeing the rise of how-to videos, right? Like, it's hard to even tell the difference between, not saying that how-to videos aren't valuable. I built my business on how-to videos. That's not what we're saying here, but we have to find a way, now that this market is saturated, like, people hide behind courses, they hide behind how-to videos. What is a way that you think that people who are creating organic content can cut through what everyone else is doing right now?
That's a great question. And it's funny because I know how-to videos are like what we were all taught for so long. And I think there's a place for them. But I would say what's working right now is you have to disrupt the newsfeed, right? You have to disrupt people's current state of thinking. And so one of the big ways that you and I talk about all the time is like, how can we call out what isn't working and shift them into a belief that is working, right? So I always give the example of, like, if someone's they're doing ads, but they're running it in a way where they don't know what they're doing and they're kind of doing it a boost post, for example. You're going to call that out and you're going to be like, are you tired of not getting people to see your ads because you're running it through boost post? And then identify what's the real problem. So it's like, call out what they think is the problem, bring them to where the real problem is like, hey, running boost posts is never going to work, right? You're doing this all wrong. What you've needed all along is, and then position, what did they need all along that gets them to like have a light bulb moment? Like our goal when we create content is to get them to have that light bulb moment, whether that's in a video or written content, is get them to have a light bulb moment that goes, crap, I've been doing this all wrong, but this is amazing. And now I can see the light. I want to do it. How-to videos just gives them more stuff to think about, when right now they're already in like decision fatigue. They don't know what the hell they should be doing because they're hit with so much information. So if we can take them out of decision fatigue, we've gotten them one step closer to buying.
Yep, absolutely. And another strategy, and this is something that you and I actually are doing right now, is figuring out how to put content that is going to show off like your expertise, right? Like anyone who's listening to this, you should be listening to this for the right reasons, that you have some expertise that you want to help other people do. And I hear this all the time. And I heard this on a podcast the other day of someone that I respect very highly. But what she said was that in all of our videos, we should be teaching the what and never the how. And I agree. And I see where people have gotten that, okay, like the how is your paid program or whatever. But I believe that if you do a really good job of showcasing the how mechanism that works really well, I don't think you should hide that, right? Because there are so many people who are just so confused over what everyone does, right? Like, what if I never went on Facebook Live and showed people the how? Like, what if I never drew out ad strategies? What if I never did case study videos? What if I never showed you my ads manager? Would you believe that I'm as good as I say I am, right? And so I think right now is a super important time. And we were talking about a while ago, like if you're a digital business owner and you are not utilizing video to connect with your audience, it will not be a good experience for you over the next several months and years, because that is where everything is moving to, is video, video, video. There's a reason why even e-com brands like are hiring creative directors, they're hiring creative managers, because video has become so important with connection. Why do you think that Jake from State Farm is everywhere? State Farm didn't have a spokesperson that people could connect with. Jake all of a sudden became that person, the face of the brand, that now when we think State Farm, we can't think State Farm without thinking Jake, right? And so that's a strategy that's been working really, really well with my clients. And I've been pushing both my clients and my students to do things off of the cuff, because that is the best way. Like whenever I do my coaching calls with my $7 students, and let's say I have an opening in my premium program, I want to make sure that I can bring students on to a Zoom call without anything, ask them and say, hey, what's going on? And being able to immediately solve their problem, not tease my premium program. Well, that's in my premium program. No, let's solve this problem now. And they're going to want more of that, right? And so that's the same thing with my live content. That's why like every single week I go live on my profile, and I'm not just teaching you guys how to do something. I am literally tearing apart the strategies that are working and giving them to you guys. Because if you guys take what I'm doing and you guys can understand it, implement it, and have a big win, they're going to be like, I want more of that. Like, how do I work with Laurel? So I think that's another good strategy. Like if you're looking for organic content, like you cannot go wrong. Like a lot of times people are so scared to go on video, but I'll give you an example. Like my agency would not be where it is today if I would have never gone on video, because a lot of times back in the day, I was doing direct outreach. That's how I booked out my agency clients. I would make email addresses. Who do I want to work with in town? Like my agency first serviced local business owners, and I would create video content and I would go and put it in the chamber group and stuff. No calls to action. Like I was just like, hey, if you're a small business owner, you probably want to learn how to do this ad strategy. It's pretty cool. It's easy. It's $5 a day. I taught my poor man's Facebook ad strategy for a really long time. And I would just go into chamber groups and just drop it. No CTA, just value, right? Well, by the time I got to direct outreach, people couldn't believe that I actually had reached out to them, because they were already following me because of those videos, and they would befriend me, and then they would see all of the content that I was putting out. At that time, I was going live every single day, because I didn't really have a real business yet. I was still working full time, at the studio. I would come here, I would do my agency clients. I filled out my agency because I was able to showcase my expertise. And by the time I reached out to people, I actually had a guy, I met him at Denny's one time, and he was trying to decide whether or not he could afford me. And we met at Denny's, and I gave him the thing, and he's like, I can't even believe we're sitting here. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because I see your videos all the time. He's like, there's no way I could afford you. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I get emailed by like 12, 11, agencies a day that want to do my ads. And this is like a small town mattress store, right? And he literally was just so in awe. What did you say about the bingeable authority, right? He was so in awe. And I had never even seen this person before ever, but because I was going and dropping all that free value in those chamber groups, again, no CTA, not asking people to do anything. He started following my videos on my page. By the time I met with him, he was like, I'm sold. Like, I don't know how much this is going to cost. I don't even know, but like, he was already sold by the time I had that. And like I said, and so everything that we're laying out, like, you guys would not be sitting here listening to this podcast episode if you guys hadn't seen my videos. Like, my videos literally built my business. And, Nas, like, what do you think? Like, do you think that I'm accurate in saying that video, like, digital business owners who are not learning how to use video effectively, do you think that, there's going to be a chance for them moving forward?
I mean, honestly, no. If you look at the stats of what's happening everywhere and you want to get like nerdy about that, like, look at TikTok, look at Instagram, look at Facebook, like, people are staying on these apps to watch. They're not sitting there just like reading. Like, hate to say it, but the days of like long blogs are dead. People are interested in immediate gratification, and that's what video gives us, right? When everyone knows they can just do a quick search and find what they want to be able to watch a video that's going to entertain them. It's going to give them the information they need, and it's going to get them, allow them to move forward, versus they feel overwhelmed with the idea of like, I'm going to read this long content. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I think video is, and has always been, the preferred form of like how people consume their content and how they get things. And just what you said was so perfect. Like, video allows us to see it and understand it in a way that just doesn't get across any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell a lot of my students who used to, like, and we still have some success with static image ads, but the reason I believe that those static image ads do so well is because of the video ads that we do in conjunction of it, and the ecosystem, right? We're going to go back to the ecosystem, like the ecosystem that we put in place. And I keep telling my students that, because some of them are so shy, and I'm like, we're going to have to, like, as a matter of fact, like, I literally just added 3 workshops a month for my premium students that we call Creators Workshop, because now it's more important than ever that they learn how to dial in their power content, their ads creative, knowing how to write the copy that's conversational. Because here's the thing, like, you can write the best ad copy, but someone could literally just hit copy, Control C, use the same exact ad without any, like, having any expertise, like, they could swipe your stuff, but they can't swipe what you can do on video. Like, you can clearly tell someone who understands their stuff from someone who doesn't. So if you utilize, like, seriously, like, this organic strategy that we just talked about, and it doesn't have to be hard. Like, just being able to turn on the camera and go live, you're going to get better. Like, if you go back to my page, whenever I started going live, I had a little advantage because I was behind the camera all those years. And, so I had a little advantage, but I still sucked. Like, I still sucked. Right. So tomorrow, the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to take all of these videos that we're doing organically and put $2 and $5 and be able to actually get high ticket sales. Like, no one talks about that. Like, one of the simplest ads that you can do literally only costs $5 and will book high quality discovery calls. That's going to be the next